All right, we are leaving the Barren Age in the dust and jumping headfirst into one of the most explosive, creative periods in all of human history, the Renaissance. And let me tell you, this wasn't just some minor update for Europe, it was a complete top-to-bottom intellectual and cultural rebirth.
But that makes you wonder, right? If this was a rebirth, what was actually being reborn after that long, quiet stretch of the Middle Ages? That question is the key to unlocking this entire era.
Well, the name itself gives us the biggest clue. Renaissance is literally Italian for rebirth. And the thing being reborn, it was the classical genius of ancient Greece and Rome. All their art, their philosophy, their science, so much of which had been kind of lost to Western Europe. This period is the vital bridge that connects the medieval world to the one we live in today.
Now, a massive change like this doesn't just happen out of nowhere. It was really powered by a few huge societal shifts happening all at once. You had the printing press arriving in England, which made knowledge accessible to way more people, not just the super rich. At the same time, the age of exploration was literally expanding the map of the known world, and the Reformation was challenging centuries of religious authority. And bubbling underneath all of it was this revolutionary new idea, humanism. This was a total mindset shift that put the focus on human potential, on reason, and on the power of the individual.
And you can see here the spark was lit in Florence, Italy, way back in the 14th century. From there, these incredible new ideas about art and philosophy just spread like wildfire across the continent. By the time 1500 rolled around, the Renaissance had finally, firmly planted its flag in England, which set the stage for its own brilliant and very unique explosion of creativity.
And that brings us to England's golden moment, the Elizabethan Age. Seriously, this period is the absolute peak of the English Renaissance, especially when you're talking about literature and theater.
The era, of course, gets its name from the monarch who defined it, Queen Elizabeth I. They called her the Virgin Queen, and her long, stable reign created this incredible sense of national pride and confidence. It was the perfect environment for the arts to just, well, to flourish.
In fact, the artistic output was so amazing that the period was famously called a nest of singing birds. And what a perfect description. It just captures this idea of a small place just packed with talent, with all these brilliant poets and playwrights creating masterpieces at the exact same time.
So, who were these singing birds? Well, let's meet some of the pioneers, the real founding fathers of English literature. These are the innovators, the people who wrote the rulebook and created the formats that would define writing for centuries to come. In the theater, we see some game-changing firsts. For comedy, you've got Nicholas Udall, who gives us Ralph Roister Doister, the very first English comedy. And for tragedy, the first one was Gorboduc, written by the duo Norton and Sackville. These two plays basically laid the blueprint for everything that came after, including, yes, Shakespeare. And it wasn't just plays. We have pioneers of specific literary forms too. Sir Thomas Wyatt? He's known as the father of the English sonnet, because he's the one who brought the Italian form to England and made it work in a new language. Then you've got Thomas Kyd, who basically invented a blockbuster genre. He's called the father of the English revenge tragedy.
Okay, now for two absolute giants of the period. On your left, you've got the brilliant and fiery playwright Christopher Marlowe, and on the right, the incredible statesman and philosopher Francis Bacon. Both of these guys were total revolutionaries who just blew the doors off what was considered possible in their fields.
So let's break down what made each of them such a big deal. Marlowe is considered the father of English tragedy. He took the genre to a whole new level of poetry and deep thinking with plays like Dr. Faustus. Bacon, on the other hand, invented a whole new way of writing prose. He's the father of the English essay, and his work completely shaped modern analytical writing. Two totally different fields, but their impact equally profound.
But of course, you can't even begin to talk about the Elizabethan age without talking about the Titan himself, William Shakespeare. This is the guy who took all the cool new things his predecessors were doing, the tragedy, the comedy, the sonnet, and just perfected them. He created a body of work that is still, to this day, completely unmatched.
And the sheer amount of work he produced is just mind-boggling. Over his lifetime, Shakespeare wrote 37 plays and 154 sonnets that we know of. The quality is legendary, for sure, but just the quantity is staggering. It's a testament to his absolute genius.
And this table here zeroes in on 4 of his absolute masterpieces, the Great Tragedies. You have Hamlet, his longest play, which is this incredible deep dive into the human mind and the theme of indecisiveness. Then, on the complete opposite end, you have Macbeth, his shortest play, a brutal, fast-paced story all about ambition. Othello is fascinating because it brings tragedy right into the home, focusing on jealousy, while King Lear is just this heartbreaking story about ingratitude.
And his impact goes so far beyond the theater. I mean, think about lines like this one from his comedy As You Like It. All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. That's not just a line from a play anymore. It's woven into the fabric of our language. He didn't just write stories, he literally shaped how we think and talk about life itself.
Now, beyond the big guy, Shakespeare, there are a few other all-stars from this period that you absolutely have to know to really get a handle on the era.
First up is Edmund Spenser. He was known as the poet's poet because other poets just admired his incredible skill. Then there's Ben Jonson, a contemporary and rival of Shakespeare, who mastered a type of satirical comedy called the comedy of humors. And you can't forget the University Wits. This was a group of 7 brilliant, university-educated writers, including Marlowe, who really set the stage for the dramatic boom in the late 1500s.
Okay, this chart right here, this is your secret weapon for keeping all these founding fathers straight. You've got Wyatt for the sonnet, Marlowe for tragedy, Bacon for the essay, Udall for comedy, and Kyde for revenge tragedy. It's the perfect quick reference for who did what first.
Seriously, go ahead and pause right here. Grab a screenshot of that last slide. It's probably the most concise summary you're going to find of these key pioneers, and it'll be a huge help for revision.
All right, time to see if you were paying attention. Let's do a quick rapid-fire quiz. First question, who is called the poet's poet? Come on, we just mentioned him.
And the answer is Edmund Spenser. If you got that right, fantastic. He was the master craftsman, the poet that other poets looked up to.
Okay, question number 2. We looked at that table of Shakespeare's great tragedies. Which one did we say was the shortest? That quick, dark story about ambition.
The correct answer is Macbeth. Hope you got both of those. Okay, let's end with one final thought. The Renaissance wasn't just about old books and paintings. It was really the birth of the modern human spirit. So here's my question for you. What single idea from this whole era, whether it's individualism, humanism, scientific curiosity, whatever, do you think still has the biggest impact on our world today? Something to chew on.